Hi, so welcome back to another episode of What Are We Doing? Today I thought I would do something a little bit different on Tuesdays. So we're going to go through how I plan the week. I'm going to do this every Tuesday, I think. Um, so let's see what we got. All right, guys, so welcome back to another episode. Thank you very much for continuing to subscribe. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button down there, hit that little bell. And don't forget to like the channel. Don't forget to like the videos. Feel free to comment. Feel free to ask any questions. I can't guarantee I'll know the answers, but I'll do my best. Um, and if you want to see the individual, what we're going to do today, what we're going to do today is go through just how I plan the week and what information I try to gather before I go about making the plan. Um, then on Patreon, if you're subscribed to Patreon, each day I'll go through the individual sets. I'll talk through the set design and talk about how we've put them together. Okay, so if you haven't already and you would be interested in that sort of stuff, head on over to Patreon. I'll put the link down below, and we can see what we can do. All right, let's start a conversation. Anyway, the very first thing we do, I talked about this in some of my other videos, is we have the season plan. Right now, our season plan has changed a little bit because we have obviously COVID, and our restrictions keep changing, which is making it slightly frustrating. But the plan, this plan, is what we're working off at the moment. Um, there are supposed to be 4 racing opportunities put in place before we get to trials. The goal is for this cycle to build to trials, and that's what we're looking to put in place. Um, our best performances because we want to qualify for Olympics, and that's the goal. All right, so I work off this plan, and that means that on the week that we're on, this is week 22, and I know that this week what I want to put in. I know that we're going to work through Danielle's, but I do this for everybody. So um, I know that the goal is 4,000 meters per session. I know that this week I know the makeup of the sessions that I want. All right, so I've made a note of that, and that's what I work from. Okay, then we get to the exciting bit. Okay, so this was a bit of a game changer for me. This is my weekly template. So this is what I use to map out the week, um, so I can plan and see what the planned load is going to be and how that load then relates to other weeks. So like I said, our week starts on a Wednesday. All right, so Wednesday the 6th, it's tomorrow, is when our week is due to start. Now what we've done today is a timed 400. So we have some aerobic capacity, turnover times, and paces for that. And we have 2 weeks of prep work done. So starting tomorrow, the fun really starts. It's when we start to get a little bit more specific. So this is Danielle's template, but I do this for everybody that's in the water at the moment. Um, and you can see the orange bars up there. The first stuff that I put in is her S&C stuff. All right, it's 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and it doesn't change. Okay, so if there's unforeseen circumstances, it will, but generally speaking, that doesn't change. Okay, now I also know that this is a specifics week for Danielle, so the plan is to put in 4 quality pieces of race pace type work. For her, it's going to be 3 anaerobic power and 1 aerobic power set. That's going to be short sets probably, but looking for real quality. So the first thing that I do is I start tomorrow, Wednesday. We have an afternoon session, and the plan tomorrow is to go anaerobic power. So we fire that in. Now it's a tough little run because on Thursday we've got double session Thursday. So Thursday morning we're going to put in some anaerobic capacity, and then Thursday evening we're going to put in some aerobic power. Friday is a single session in the morning. Saturday is our second anaerobic power set of the week, and then we have Sunday off. This week I don't normally put a Sunday off, but because of the restrictions that we've got at the moment, there's no session Sunday. And then on Monday we put in our last anaerobic power set. All right, so once those are in, I then assign a duration. So this first one, 15 minutes, and I'm expecting it to be pretty tough. All right, and that gives me a load for that set. All right, and what I do is I go through the week, put in the aerobic capacity pieces, put in the speed pieces, and the recovery pieces. Okay, and as if by magic. So sorry, the camera moved there a little bit. Sorry. So as you can see, that's the week filled in. All right, I've put in the aerobic capacity pieces and the anaerobic capacity work and the speed work. Okay, so what we've got then is a duration for the set and an anticipated perceived rate of exertion. Those two things give us, in the grey boxes up there, give us a training load, a perceived training load for the set. All right, and then it multiplies it across the week, and it gives us an anticipated training load for the week. Okay, and that's kind of how we plan the week out. Okay, now when we get to that point, all right, this is where it was a bit of a game changer. That bit's fairly self-explanatory. It's fairly easy, but this bit's cool. All right, so this is the dashboard. I've done a few videos on the dashboard before, but this is you can check them out up there. If I work out how to put that card in, I guess. But this is the bit I want to talk about is the plan, but at the bottom of this, okay. The bar graph. All right, now that bar graph is the actual training load for the previous 6 weeks, and then the blue bar in the end is the anticipated load for this week that I've just planned. All right, so that bar is a representation of what you've just literally seen me do there. All right, as you can see, we've had, if you the dip in load is due to 3 weeks of taper into a competition, and then 2 weeks of interrupted training with Christmas and New Year, and we kind of use that um, to put in some prep work, some transition work before we start building back up that intensity again. So that blue bar in the end is what we're looking at. Okay, now I don't hope you can see it. Um, Plotted on are three line graphs. They're standard deviations. So there's a mean average in the middle, that's slightly heavier dash line, and then two deviations north and south of it. Okay, and what I try to do is keep my load increases and decreases within those parameters, within those standard deviations, as a way to try and mitigate against um, injury as much as is humanly possible. Um, so when we build up, we don't build up too much too quickly. When we reduce, we don't reduce too much too quickly. Now, the 2 weeks that were interrupted with Christmas and New Year, the two very low bars there, um, obviously that's beyond our control because there was 4 days of no swimming one week, and 3 days of no swimming the next week. So that's impossible. But that's what we try to do with our load planning. Um, the other things just on this dashboard here, as to monitor load, is if we look across at the little needle diagrams to the left, that way, I think, the ATL and CTL, acute training load and critical training load, that little bar in the bottom there, I try to keep those two needles in the green as much as possible. If they go into the red, it's not the end of the world. Um, but I try to keep them as green as possible. And the 1.2 number is green as well, because that's the ratio between the acute and critical loads, and I try to keep that between 0.8 and 1.3. Again, just as a way to try and offset any potential injuries by just ramping up load too fast. Okay, so that's how I go about planning my week. And like I said, what I'm intending to do with this channel is do a little video like this, setting out my weekly plans each week, so as you can see what we're doing. This week's just a bit of an overview on how I do them generally. Then each day on Patreon, I'll be posting a little short 3 or 4 minute video just on each of the training sets, the key sets that we're going to do. So with Danielle, we've got 2, 3, 4 anaerobic or 4 power sets this week, and I'll write those out and we'll talk through them a little bit. Feel free to join me on Discord as well. I'll post a link down below as well, and we can have some conversations about these things. Don't forget to ask any questions. Anything I possibly can answer, I will. And yeah, so I hope you find these things slightly interesting. And thank you very much for joining us on this journey. All right, so just before I go, I want to thank you again for watching to the end. I am planning, I'm trying to figure it out, how to put some sort of a web-based app together with this dashboard information on it. I haven't got there yet. All right, I'm not that tech savvy, so I'm not there yet. Um, what I'm toying with the idea of doing, if anybody was interested, is doing sort of a stripped down version of this planning element, which I honestly think is the game changer. It was for me. Um, Available through Patreon subscription that I can sort of manage for you, or I haven't quite figured it out yet. But if there's any sort of interest in doing something like that, then by all means send me a message, let me know, and we'll see what we can do. Um, and we'll take it from there. Okay, once again, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to hit the like, share the video, share the channel, tell everybody. We want to build a little bit of a following in 2020, and I try to be a little bit more active on it. And we'll see what we can do. All right, thank you again, and stay safe.